While drinking with neighbors, I jokingly called him a wimp. Then he unleashed his revenge on me. Hi, Reddit. I don't even know where to start. I've been meaning to post this for a few days now, but every time I start typing, I just get stuck trying to figure out how it even got this bad. This happened last month, and no, I'm not over it. I don't think I will be for a while. I'm Lisa Female, 29 years old, about to be divorced after I gave all my efforts to my marriage only to be dumped at the end. I'm currently staying with my cousin in a guest room that smells like scented garbage bags and Vicks. I haven't checked my bank account in 2 weeks. I'm 10 weeks pregnant. And before you say anything, yes, it's complicated. Everyone's acting like I blew up my life on purpose. Like I woke up one day and decided to ruin everything because I was bored. But that's not what happened. It wasn't like that. It was one joke, one night. And now I've got nothing. Ray and I were married for 4 years. Our anniversary was in March. We went to a steakhouse. I wore a navy dress he liked. He bought me a necklace that I haven't seen since the night everything went down. Not that it matters. We were fine. I'm not going to sit here and say it was some perfect head over heels thing. We weren't that kind of couple. We weren't dramatic or fiery or whatever. He's not that guy. Ray's quiet. He owns a restaurant. Wears the same shoes every day. He's predictable. The kind of man you marry when you want a quiet life, not fireworks. And honestly, I didn't hate that. At the beginning, that's exactly what I wanted. I was 25, living at home after graduating. No job lined up, no plan, just vibes and family pressure. When our parents suggested we meet up, I figured sure. Why not Dot? It was better than sitting around doing nothing. And Ray seemed like the kind of guy who wouldn't make life difficult. And he didn't. Not even once. So yeah, I married him. I moved into his house. I stopped worrying about bills and job interviews and awkward networking events. He made things easy. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to do much of anything. Just show up, be nice, play the part. And that worked for a while. It really did. But after a couple years, I started feeling blank. Like I was stuck inside someone else's life. Like I was playing the role of the wife, but forgot who I was supposed to be underneath it. That probably sounds dramatic, but that's how it felt. Like I had traded my personality for stability, and every time I tried to explain it, someone would tell me how lucky I was. At least he takes care of you. At least you don't have to worry about money. As if being provided for is the same thing as being seen. Noonie understood that I was a young woman who had more to life than just being a housewife. I was tired of seeing people who went to uni with me, enjoying their life, going on vacations while I was just at home scrolling Instagram reels and waiting for my husband to get home. At the beginning, it thrilled me that I had nothing to do, just sit around while everyone took care of everything. Ray's restaurant was doing really well, so good that he was thinking of opening one more, so we had all the comfort, a housekeeper who used to come every alternate day, and a cook. When I told him I was getting bored around the house, he suggested that I can get some work or join him at the restaurant. He told me that I can help them in managing their Instagram page, as he was paying someone else to do their digital marketing or pick some hobby, but I didn't want to work and check who took embroidery class in this day and age. Sometimes I truly felt like I was married to a grandpa, and that was the problem, wasn't it? Mike and Sasha lived 2 doors down. I don't even remember the first time we met them. Probably one of those boring neighborhood potlucks where everyone pretends they like each other and trades store-bought desserts like we're in some weird suburban cult. Sasha's the organized one. Always in a rush, always planning something. The kind of woman who writes self-care in her calendar and still shows up with homemade granola bars and matching lunch boxes. She posts pictures of their golden retriever in Halloween costumes and reminds everyone in the group chat about HOA dues. I'm not even joking when I say she once brought a color-coded snack list to a community meeting. Like, calm down, Michelle Obama. No one cares that your kid eats organic almonds. I didn't think much of Mike at first. Just another husband. But then you see him in a group setting and realize he's that guy. The one who tells the loudest story. The one people actually look at when he talks. He's always joking, always animated, never boring. Even when he's talking about traffic or some guy at work, people laugh. He's one of those men who make people feel good just by being around. Ray's the opposite. Quiet. Mumbles when he's tired. He's not rude or anything. He just never takes up space. If there's a group of people talking, Ray's the one holding the drink, smiling politely, waiting for someone to ask what he thinks, and then answering in 5 words, Max. It's not like I wanted Mike, not at first, but it was impossible not to compare. Mike's got this energy. He wears cologne that actually smells like something. His shirts fit right. His laugh is loud and easy. He's the kind of man you notice when he enters the room. Ray's the kind of man who blends into the furniture. And then there were the moments. I'd see Mike helping Sasha unload groceries, making her laugh across the yard. At a barbecue once, I watched him throw his arm around her like it was nothing, just casual affection, like he actually liked her. And I remember thinking, that should have been me. Not because Sasha's awful or anything, but because she got everything I thought I was supposed to have. The fun husband, the happy marriage, the good life. And I was stuck playing wife to someone who couldn't even pick a shirt that matched his jeans. It started getting to me, slowly, quietly, and I know how that sounds. But that's where it started. After a while, I started noticing when Sasha wasn't home. She travels sometimes to see her sister or her mom or whatever errands she packs into a 3-day weekend. It's not like she announces it to the neighborhood, but you can tell. Her car's gone. Her front porch plants start drooping. The usual energy around their house just dulls a bit. The first time I ran into Mike while she was out of town, it was totally by accident. I was walking the dog. No makeup, hair in a bun. He was outside fixing something on the garage door. We made small talk just about weather, boring stuff. But he offered me a drink, and I said yes. Not because I was thirsty, but because I wanted to sit there for a minute. I wanted to see what it felt like to have a conversation that wasn't about dish soap or meal prepping or when Ray's next inventory order was due. He poured lemonade. We sat on their porch for 20 minutes, maybe 30. It wasn't flirty, but I could feel it shift. That tension, that little spark that lights up when 2 people start paying just a little too much attention. After that, I started being more aware of when Sasha was away, of when Mike might be home alone, of which days I could forget I already picked up my mail and made an extra trip down the sidewalk. That kind of thing. I started asking him random questions, like if he knew any good local cleaners because our dry cleaner closed. I didn't need help. I just wanted to start conversations. Once I mentioned in passing that Ray had been falling asleep early a lot, that our evenings were quiet lately. Nothing dramatic, just slipping little things into the air. Mike didn't say much, but he listened. And that was enough. Another time, I was wearing this simple black tank and shorts, nothing special. I caught him looking, just for a second. He looked away fast, but I saw it. And it felt good. That's when I knew I could push this a little further just to see where the line really was. It wasn't like I sat down with a notebook and planned things out. I'm not that calculated. But once I realized how easy it was to just show up around Mike, I started leaning into it a little more. At first, it was simple stuff. I'd time my dog walks for the same slot he usually came back from work, around 6:15 to 6:30. I'd leave the house a little earlier than usual and make sure to take the long way so I'd hit their street just as he was pulling into the driveway. That way it wasn't weird. I wasn't showing up. I was just there. Then I started thinking bigger. I remembered Sasha once mentioned they were redoing their backyard. Some landscaping project. She was complaining about coordinating with the contractor. I waited a couple days and then casually asked Mike if he had any recommendations because we were thinking of redoing our front hedge. We weren't. Ray barely notices the hedge exists, but Mike lit up and started talking about who they hired and what to avoid. He offered to send me the guy's contact. I said, "That would be great, but honestly, it's so much easier when someone walks you through it." He nodded. I smiled. That afternoon, I printed out a few Pinterest photos and walked over with a notebook and a dumb little sketch of our yard. Ray was at work. Sasha wasn't home. I knocked. Mike let me in. We sat at the kitchen counter for over an hour, going over plants I didn't know the names of, lighting ideas I couldn't care less about. I didn't need any of it. I just wanted to be across from him, talking, laughing, watching the way his arms moved when he pointed something out. And it didn't feel wrong. That was the worst part. It felt easy. Natural. After that, I looked for more excuses. I started forgetting things at their place. A casserole dish from a block party, a hoodie I loaned Sasha once when it rained. One time I asked if they had any extra batteries because ours kept dying randomly, which wasn't even true, but it got me 5 minutes on their porch. Sometimes Sasha was home, most of the time she wasn't, and whenever it was just Mike and me, I made sure to act like it was nothing. Smile, laugh a little too hard, ask about his day, say things like, "You guys really do so much, I don't know how Sasha manages all of it." I wasn't trying to steal Sasha's husband. I wasn't that woman. I really wasn't. I just wanted to feel like I mattered again. I just wanted something that was mine for once. That's not wrong, is it? It happened on a Tuesday evening. I remember because I'd just come back from a nail appointment, and I still had that little oil on my cuticles when I stepped out to walk the dog. I wasn't even thinking about Mike and Sasha, not at that moment. But then I heard shouting. Not full volume screaming, but raised voices coming from their backyard. It wasn't the first time I'd heard them argue. Everyone argues. But this time it sounded different. More tense, not performative, real. I slowed down near the hedge, and I know how that sounds. But don't act like you wouldn't have listened too. It wasn't even hard to hear. Sasha was upset about something Mike forgot. Some meeting at their kid's school. A parent-teacher thing she had asked him to be at. Apparently he said he'd come and then just didn't show. She called him selfish. He said she was controlling. She called him unreliable. He said she always made everything about her. It went quiet after that. I kept walking. I didn't want them to see me, but in my head, I was already turning it over. I knew that look on Sasha's face. I'd seen it before. The way women talk to men they no longer admire. The way they say you never show up and mean I don't even like you anymore. Later that night, I saw Mike outside with a beer, sitting on one of those foldable chairs facing the street. No Sasha, no kid, just him and his drink. I was in pajamas. I didn't plan to say anything, but I walked over anyway. He looked tired, not just physically. That kind of tired that settles in your eyes when you've been fighting to be heard and nothing lands. I didn't say, "Are you okay?" That would have sounded fake. I just sat on the edge of the curb and said, "Rough night?" He exhaled through his nose, laughed without smiling. "She's mad about something I forgot. Again." I didn't touch him or get dramatic. I just nodded. "You do a lot. She should see that." He didn't say anything at first, just looked down at the bottle in his hand. "I mean," I continued, "you work long hours. You help with the kid. You're literally the only husband I've seen do school pickup in this neighborhood. That counts, even if she pretends it doesn't." He looked over at me not with surprise, but like he'd been waiting for someone to say it out loud. "It just always feels like it's never enough," he said. "She's always on me, about every little thing." I shrugged. "Maybe she's just used to you being reliable. People stop appreciating the things they think will never go away." That one landed. I could tell. I didn't push. I didn't need to. I just sat there, letting him talk, letting him tell me how tired he was, how unseen he felt. And every time he paused, I filled the silence with something gentle, something true enough to sound helpful, but sharp enough to sting when he remembered it later. I just shared my thoughts about their marriage like, sometimes the people who expect the most give the least back. She used to laugh at your jokes more, I noticed. You deserve someone who notices when you're hurting. All I did was agree with what he already felt. And that's how it started. That weekend was just perfect timing, I guess. Ray was out of town doing some site visit for the restaurant. He's been talking about opening a second location, and there was this place a few hours away he wanted to check out. He said he might stay overnight, and I was like, yeah, go for it. Didn't even pretend to care. Sasha had been gone since Thursday. Her mom had some minor surgery and she went to help out. I only know that because she posted about it in the group chat with a selfie at the hospital. Whatever. So it was just me and Mike on the block. No spouses, no distractions. Saturday night. I texted him something dumb. "Hey, lights keep flickering again. Think it's a wiring thing? Ray's not here and I'm kind of freaking out." Total lie. Everything was fine. I just wanted him over. He replied like 10 minutes later. "Yeah, I can stop by. Be there soon." I had already changed. Not too much. Just enough. Tight tee, shorts, hair down. I lit a candle and turned off one of the kitchen lights so the room looked soft but not like a setup. Except it totally was. He came in, flicked a couple switches, looked at the breaker. I think it's fine. Probably nothing. I handed him a glass of wine, told him I was already drinking and figured he might want one. He hesitated for like half a second and then took it. We sat in the kitchen for a while, talked. He started venting again, like he always does when he's had 2 drinks. About how Sasha's been cold lately, how they barely talk. That kind of thing. I played the usual part. Nodding, smiling a little, saying stuff like, "You do so much. She should see that." He looked tired, not just end of day tired, that I don't know who I am anymore kind of tired. Then I said something dumb like, "Want to check the hallway light too?" That one was acting weird earlier. It wasn't. I walked ahead slowly, stopped near the bedroom, said it again, still flickering. He stood there and I turned around and I kissed him just like that no build-up. I just leaned in because I knew he wouldn't stop me and he didn't. It happened in my bedroom, and Ray's. I didn't think about that until later. It was quick, intense, weirdly quiet, like neither of us wanted to say anything and ruin it. He left after an hour, didn't look me in the eye when he walked out, said, "See you around." That was it. I changed the sheets, opened the windows, put on a face mask, didn't feel guilty. Not even a little. People act like you plan these things. I didn't plan it, I just didn't stop it. And I don't think that makes me evil. It was one night. He was lonely, I was there, that's it. Few weeks after that night, there was a BBQ in the neighborhood. The BBQ was Sasha's idea, obviously. It was one of those July days where the air felt like you were breathing through a wet towel. Everyone dragging out their folding chairs like we were at some church picnic nobody wanted to be at. Citronella candles burning on every table. Not that it mattered, we were all still getting eaten alive. Sasha made watermelon feta skewers because she saw it on TikTok. 2 giant trays of them like we were filming a cooking show. Whatever. Ray was back by then, acting like everything was great, smiling, carrying coolers, flipping burgers. He even made his stupid jalapeno dip, and everyone kept going on about how good it was like he was some kind of hero for putting cream cheese in a bowl. Mike was there too, with Sasha. Of course, sticking to her like Velcro, laughing at all the right moments, carrying her drink, whispering in her ear. Like he hadn't been in my bed not even a full month ago. Cool. I wore my blue dress, the one that always used to get compliments. I even put on perfume even though it was 100 degrees and I was already sweating through my bra. I made sangria from scratch. I smiled. I laughed too loud. I played the part. And Mike didn't even look at me, not once. I kept moving around like maybe if he caught me in the right light or at the right moment he'd remember. But no, nothing. He was all in on the happy husband act, like I didn't exist. And Ray? Just standing there with his damn spatula like he was waiting for something. At some point, a bunch of us ended up near the grill. Someone said something about Ray being the calmest guy they knew. "Ray's like a monk," one guy joked. "Nothing phases him." And then someone else, I don't even know who, it doesn't matter, said, "Yeah, he's so quiet all the time. I don't think I've ever heard him raise his voice." Everyone laughed. And me? I had 2 glasses of sangria in me, no attention from Mike, and way too many feelings I didn't want to admit. So I said it. Yeah, quiet like a wimp. Loud, snarky. Way meaner than I meant for it to sound. And just like that, the air changed. People shifted. Someone coughed into their cup. A lady in a floppy sun hat looked down at her plate. Ray didn't flinch, didn't stop flipping the burgers. He just looked up, caught my eye, and smiled. "I mean, hey," he said, cool as anything. "I'd rather be a quiet wimp than a loud idiot." Everyone laughed, real easy, like the tension hadn't just snapped for a second. I laughed too, pretended it was all a joke. But inside I felt it, that pit in my stomach. Because Ray's smile wasn't normal. It was the kind of smile you see right before the ground drops out under you. It was about 2 weeks after the BBQ when I realized I was late. At first I brushed it off. Stress, heat, whatever. But then a few more days went by, and I started to get that pit feeling in my stomach that I couldn't shake. I bought a test, took it, positive. I sat on the edge of the bathtub staring at it for a full hour, like it might change if I looked at it hard enough. And yeah, I knew it wasn't Ray's. Ray and I hadn't done anything for almost a month before he left for his trip. He was tired. I was annoyed. We were like ships passing at that point. It was Mike. There was no question. I didn't tell anyone. I just shoved the test back in the box, stuck it in the zipper pocket of my purse, and told myself I'd figure it out later. Except I didn't figure anything out, because a few nights later, Ray found it. I guess he was looking for something in my bag. Gum, a charger, who knows. He pulled it out while we were sitting on the couch, holding it up like a prize. At first I panicked, but then he smiled. Big. Real. "You're pregnant?" he said, and his voice cracked a little. I just nodded. I didn't even try to lie. I didn't have to. He picked me up off the couch, and spun me around. Said he was the luckiest man in the world. Said he wanted to tell everyone. Celebrate. "I want to throw a party," he said, still grinning. "Family, friends, everybody, we're going to celebrate you." And in that moment, I believed it. I actually let myself believe maybe everything would be okay. I went out and bought a dress for the party. This pale yellow thing, fitted at the waist, flowy at the bottom. I got my hair done, got my nails done, bought new shoes even though I couldn't really afford them. The party was on a Saturday afternoon. Backyard setup, balloons, banners that said, "Oh baby," and a table full of cupcakes and little pink and blue decorations. It looked like something out of Pinterest. Everyone was there. Family, friends, neighbors, even Mike and Sasha. I could feel Mike's eyes on me for the first time in weeks. Not soft, not warm, tight, nervous. Like he knew something was about to go wrong but couldn't stop it. Around sunset, Ray clinked his beer bottle against a glass. "Before we cut the cake," he said, smiling wide, "I put together something special for Lisa, for the mother of my child." Everyone cheered. I smiled. My face hurt from how hard I was trying to hold it together. Ray pulled down the makeshift screen he'd set up near the patio, hooked up his laptop. "For anyone who doesn't know," he said, laughing, "Lisa's been doing a lot of texting lately. Baby brain, right? Forgetful, emotional." People laughed. He clicked play . And then everything burned . First came the screenshots. Projected, massive, text messages from my phone, from me to Mike. "I can't stop thinking about that night. You made me feel alive again. Why are you ignoring me? I thought we had something real. I don't care about Sasha. I want you. I'm late. I think I'm pregnant. It's yours." It was all there. People gasped. Someone dropped a cup. And Ray? Ray stood there smiling like a man watching a fire, he said himself. He clicked through them slowly, methodically, giving everyone enough time to read, to understand. Then he spoke again, casual like he was announcing the cake flavor. "I actually found these a couple weeks ago," he said. "When I was going through her phone looking for a grocery list." He laughed a little. Imagine my surprise. "And just in case anyone's wondering," he added, still grinning, "I got a vasectomy 2 years ago." The screen flashed one more time, a screenshot of an email confirmation from the urologist's office. "Procedure completed, June 2022. Silence. Nobody knew where to look. Mike turned gray. Sasha turned red. I felt like the ground was tilting under me. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Mike tried to stammer something. I think he said, "It's not what you think," which, seriously, what else could it have been? But she wasn't having it. She slapped him across the face, loud enough that a couple people actually gasped. And then she turned to me. God, I wish she hadn't. She marched right up to me, her whole face twisted with rage, and for a second I thought she was going to slap me too. But she didn't. She spat right at me, right in my face. It hit my cheek, hot and humiliating. I just stood there like a damn idiot, blinking, while people around us turned away like they were embarrassed for me, or maybe just didn't want to catch the fallout. "You're disgusting," Sasha said, her voice low and furious. "You threw yourself at my husband like trash and you still got rejected. Look at you." I wiped my face, my hands shaking so bad I almost missed. Mike didn't defend me. Mike didn't move. Mike didn't even flinch. He just stood there like a coward, letting Sasha tear me apart in front of everyone. And Ray? Ray stood by the grill, sipping a beer, looking like he'd waited his whole life for this moment. After a minute, he stepped forward, tapped the side of his bottle lightly like he was making some casual announcement. "You know," he said, almost conversational, "it's crazy." Everyone was staring. No one was even pretending to talk or move around anymore. Ray smiled. Not a soft smile. Not the kind of smile you get when you're proud. The kind you get when you finally win. I married you because I thought you were honest. Not perfect, not easy, just honest. Turns out you weren't even that. I stood there, frozen, trying to keep my face blank, trying not to cry or scream or run. Ray shrugged a little, like it wasn't even personal anymore. Good luck explaining to the next guy how you blew up your life because you couldn't stand not being the center of attention for 5 minutes. Then he turned to everyone. Party's over. Thanks for coming. He dropped his plate in the trash, wiped his hands on a napkin, and walked inside. Just like that. And me? I stood there in my stupid yellow dress, sticky from the spit on my face, while people started quietly packing up their food in chairs and pretending they hadn't just watched me get destroyed in 4K. Nobody said a word to me. Not Mike, not Sasha, not even the neighbors who used to invite me for coffee. I was just there, alone, pregnant, and somehow still thinking for half a second, maybe Mike would come find me after. Maybe he'd apologize. Maybe he'd want to be with me now, because I'm an idiot. At the time I'm writing this, I'm 8 weeks pregnant. After everything came out, I tried to talk to Ray and tried to explain that it didn't mean anything, that it was just a mistake, that we could move past it if we tried hard enough. He didn't even argue. He just said, the paperwork's coming. And it did. He filed for divorce 2 days after the party. Had it hand-delivered to my cousin's house like I was some stranger he didn't even want to see. Mike? Yeah, I tried with him too. I texted, I called. I even showed up at his work once. He wouldn't even let me finish my sentence. He said, I don't want anything to do with the woman who ruined my life. Word for word. And Sasha? From what I heard, she's filing too. Not that it matters. Mike wouldn't touch me now if I was the last person on earth. My parents didn't want me either. They said they were embarrassed and that it's not their problem. So now I'm staying at my cousin's house, in a guest room that smells like scented garbage bags and Vicks Vapo Rub. I haven't even checked my bank account because honestly, I don't want to know how bad it's gotten. But I still have hope. Maybe once the baby's born, Ray will soften. Maybe he'll realize we can still be a family. Maybe Mike will change his mind once he sees the kid and realizes what we could have had. People act like life is black and white. Like you make one mistake and that's it. Game over. I don't believe that. I made a mistake. A big one, yeah. But that doesn't mean I deserve to lose everything. Not forever. Right, Reddit?